This video is going to be about the Schrade SCHF40. My name's Brian, and you're watching Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. Thanks for joining me. As I said, today's video is going to be about a brand new knife from Schrade, the SCHF40. And this is a beast, man. Tell you, Schrade was kind enough to send me this so I could show it to you. And I think it's a brand new knife for 2015. It's one of the first reviews of it online. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed. It's just a really, really solid knife. So what I thought we'd do is, let me tell you about the specs of this thing. We'll take a look at some of the details. And then we'll put this thing through the ringer and see how well it does on that knife stuff. Once again, this is the Schrade SCHF40. This is a full tang knife with an overall length of 11 inches. Features a 5.1 inch powder coated, partially serrated drop point blade of 420 J2 stainless steel. Has a black 5.9 inch glass filled nylon handle with a TPE overmold. Also has a stainless steel pommel with lanyard holes. The handles feature lashing holes. Has a removable MOLLE compatible nylon belt sheath with a TPE overmold sheath featuring multiple lashing options. The sheath also has a built-in sharpening stone, and the weight of this knife is 11.5 ounces. Okay, so that again is the Schrade SCHF40 full tang fixed blade knife, and a good solid knife. One thing I did want to point out is this handle looks kind of different. It's got these kind of almost like chiseled looking features on it, but honestly, it's got enough of a TPE, the soft rubbery softness. It feels really comfortable. It's got some jimping up here on the handle, jimping ridges here and here, so that really, this thing is a beefy. It's a big solid handle. If you got big hands or medium hands or whatever, this thing's going to be okay for you. It just feels really solid. Although it's a full tang, it's an overmolded handle, so it's also got this kind of a separate pommel that probably functions as a glass breaker, but it's also kind of insulated from shock for the rest of the handle. So if you bang on this, it's probably not going to transfer as much shock. So full tang comes down to about right here, I think, somewhere right in here at the bottom of this. You can see there's got like a little spacer there where it's put on. Again, it's got holes in the handle up here for lashing and one down here, so you could make this into a spear if you needed to. It's got pretty good serrations half the way up and a really good sharp edge the rest of the way. Looks like it is about a little more than 1/8 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch thick. Reasonably sharp spine. We're going to check that in a minute. Just altogether a really solid feeling knife. As you can see, this one's brand new, so we're going to put it through its paces. This is kind of the initial look. So I want to show you the sheath. It's kind of a multi-option sheath. First of all, it's got the nylon carrier, I guess, for the sheath itself, that it's got the MOLLE strap attachments on back. You can several different configurations, both sides. You can snap this onto, you know, whatever kind of strapping or attachments you've got. It's also got a lot of strapping holes here on the front. Got a snap retention here at the top, big belt loop for hanging on your belt, and also, as you saw, this actually comes off totally off. Take it off now, I'll show you. And it's a little bit of effort to get it off, but once you get it off, it's off, obviously. And then if you want to just strap this on to whatever you've got, then that'd be fine. The retention on this thing is really, it snaps in there really good. You might could sling it out, but you're going to have to really do some slinging. It just snaps in really good, and takes a little effort to get it out. So. And then you can see on back here, obviously, is the sharpening stone. Nothing big, but it'll definitely get the job done and keep an edge on it in the field. So that's the sheath system, I'm gonna call it. And this is the knife. So without further ado, let's take a look and see how well this thing does knife stuff. Okay, so I thought we'd start with something easy. And this is my old baton to get it out of the way. Do a little chopping here. Let's see how well this thing does some chopping. I got a reasonably hardwood piece of wood. It's not super hard, I'll be honest with you, but it's a pretty good sized blade. So I thought we can at least check the ergonomics of it. It's not super hard wood for sure, but really want to just see how this thing feels when you're chopping, and how it feels in the hand. Get around here where you can see this a little better. It bites in pretty good. You can see I usually, when I'm chopping, I'm using like a 2-finger grip right here. So it's got enough of a swell right here at the bottom with that little bit of jimping ridges to catch your finger. And I usually catch it on my middle finger there. And as long as it doesn't slip around on me, move there, I'm good to go. And again, it's not going to be your primary chopper. That's what the axe is for. But in an emergency situation, a knife like this is pretty much kind of one of the uses of it's going to be as a survival knife, I would think. So you want a survival knife to be able to do whatever you need to do. So as you saw, this is not like super hard dense wood. This is definitely not dogwood, but it's dead and dry. So, and it chopped pretty well. So let's see how well it does some batoning. Let me readjust this so you can see the whole thing in the camera. Maybe you can see it right here. Okay, we'll try it right there. Again, this is not super big, but you can see it's got a 5-inch blade, so plenty should be plenty big enough to baton this. And again, this is not super hard wood, but we're going to give it a go anyway. And this is kind of like the gentle format I'm using. Okay, it's really not as hard as I thought it was. The gentle format I'm using to test knives, because I like to do the tough stuff first, the batoning and chopping and all that, before we start carving, so you can see, make sure the edge is not going to roll on you or anything like that. So let's try something a little bit harder. Okay, so I've got a big piece of firewood here, too big for this blade in one chunk, but we can definitely carve it down to size, I think. Let's just see what we got here. It's a lot harder than what we just had. I keep my hand out of the way. Let me just turn around. I'm banging on the tip of this thing pretty good, so we'll try to carve another piece of it off. It's going to be about the wow. Okay. Well, if this is not a good test, I don't know what is. I'm beating the heck out of it, beating the heck out of the tip with it. Okay. All right. I'm going to say that's a decent test of this knife. At least to the batoning. I mean, that's good dry dead wood. Enough to break this pretty solid baton, so I'm going to call that one good. I want to show you here, this thing focus. The edge has no chips, no dings, no rolls in it. And I don't know if you can see this close. If I can get this close up for you to see it. The profile on that blade is absolutely even and symmetrical. So the grind is very nice on this thing. Now you can see that the finish is already starting to wear a little bit. That's going to happen every time you baton wood. I've never been able to baton any wood that doesn't happen. And this is a barely rough. It's got just a little bit of texture to it, but very little at all. Pretty hard finish. So, okay, so we did the batoning, did a little chopping. Now let's see how it does a little finer stuff. Okay, so we got a piece of that wood we just split out, and I think what I'm going to do with it is go ahead and chop it up split it down one more time, and do a little carving on it. So let me take my shortened baton here, carve that out, and we'll just start with this piece right here. We'll try some feathers. Okay, so that's the fine edge, the non-serrated edge, and it's carving pretty decent. Let's go ahead and, so we'll chop those off now and get them out of the way. Let's go ahead and make use the serrations and see what we can do with those. I don't know what kind of wood this is. Doesn't carve the best feathers though. There we go. If I can get into the groove here, the serrations usually do very well. And take it nice and easy. They're really sharp. We're going to try to make some really fine ones here for a reason. Okay. All right, we'll try that. See these? Okay, so not too shabby, I don't think. Let's just see how well they will accomplish the given task for which they are designed. Okay, so I've got my little feather stick here. I've got a ferro rod. I'm going to check the back of this thing and see if it'll strike a ferro rod. I don't know if it will or not. It's not super sharp, but let's just see. Okay, it seems to be doing pretty good. I'm going to see if I can get these little curls. Make a couple more. Not real thrilled with this wood. It's not the greatest feathering wood in the world, but I'm trying to make some super fine ones here that'll catch. So let's just see what happens. Get up here where I can get you see. Ah, there we go. This wood had been sitting in the rain for a couple of days now, so we got the inside of it, but so sometimes it's not as easy as they make it look on TV, but I'd call that a success. Okay, so chopper, pretty decent for the knife of this size. I like the fact that it's got this little bit of a hump here, something that catches you. On a 2-finger grip, I usually chop about like this, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of chopping like this, getting as much momentum from the knife as I can, much leverage as I can. It does a great job. It's got just enough of a little bit of a jimping kind of imprint there to really help you grab it. Really good on that. Did a great job on batoning, to be honest with you. I beat the heck out of it and no damage to it. The blade was fine. Carving, pretty good. This is a pretty hefty knife, so it's not going to be as detail oriented as a thinner blade, but actually did pretty well. A lot of people don't like serrations, I know. Serrations actually do a pretty good job in some cases. This is more of an all-purpose knife, and the serrations definitely come in handy when cutting strap or roping, or in more tactical situations than bushcraft situations a lot of times. So it's kind of a do-all knife. But it's got a pretty good bit of a blade here to do some final work. And the problem is you can't choke up too much because you got the serrations in the way, so you can kind of get up to here. But you can, as you can see, we did a pretty decent job with it. Ferro rod striking, did okay. I mean, we got a fire with it. I actually struck the ferro rod really well. So, and I found with these coated blades, this edge is now a lot sharper, I think. As soon as you rub that coating off, it does have a pretty good 90-degree spine on it. So it doesn't take much to get it off with the ferro rod. So that was pretty much, I think that's everything we need to do to test the knife, right? Okay, so that was, as you saw, some more silliness, but it's a very well balanced knife. And I need to say that, as you saw, I've got kind of a target there. And that's just in case this knife happens to slip out of my hand. As you know, I'm firmly against throwing knives. I think that you should never ever throw a knife. You're going to void the warranty on the knife, and it's very dangerous. You could harm the knife or harm yourself. So obviously, I've said it over and over and over again. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm adamantly opposed to throwing knives. Anyway, this is the SCHF40. Did a great job. Just a quick recap. Chopping, batoning, carving, striking, slips out of your hand. It's, not too bad. So just a great all-around knife. And I'm really impressed with this knife. Schrade was kind enough again to send this to me so I could show it to you. This is my first look. I'm going to use this thing for a while and get back to you, but the initial impression is this is a beast. This is a really solid knife. And if you like big, heavy-duty, solid, by golly, get the job done knives, I think you're going to like this one. As always, thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking that thumbs up down below. Let Google know you like this kind of video. Share it with your friends, please. And if you want to support this channel, check out the Amazon links down below. That's really helpful. I really appreciate it. Don't forget my website at survivalonpurpose.com, and thanks for your support. I really, really do appreciate it. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. See you next time.